Welcome to another episode of No Talking During the Movies. I am your host, Stephen Austin.
And I am a human heart attack waiting to happen tank.
Tank is Scorpion, and I am Sub-Zero. I'm getting to it. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm just trying to live my life enjoying this cooler weather over here, and Tank's over here like, get over here and help me move.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Right?
I like it.
It was like perfect timing with everything.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm making that reference because one of our two trailers today is the infamous Mortal Kombat trailer, which was quite a lot. So I think we should just break right into it. Tank, what did you think of the Red Band trailer?
We're just jumping right in. All right.
I
loved it. I'm very excited. I'm a Mortal Kombat stan. You know, as a kid, as a teenager, playing arcade game at the Aladdin's Castle on Ward Parkway, R.I.P. We put hundreds and hundreds of dollars of quarters into that machine, and the movies came out, during my teenage formative years. They weren't good. The original movies. The first one wasn't as bad.
The first one was like I think that one set the bar for what video game movies were.
I really liked how faithful it was to the source material. I thought that was like an amazing kind of thing. But the second one was just terrible. So we've been left with that taste in our mouth for the last 25 years or so. So that's pretty rough. But this new Mortal Kombat, it's got a lot of you've seen it with all other genres that started off a little shaky. The comic book genre has turned into where they make good films about comic books now. Sure. So hopefully this is where we're headed with this. I saw that it looks like they're adding a character, perhaps.
Yeah, I think the main character of the film is like the new guy coming in. Like he's not somebody that we recognize, and I'm okay with that, just so I don't get attached to him, because I have a feeling that it probably won't end out well for him. Overall, I just want to see Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight.
Well, I think that's what we all want to see.
We got to see a little bit of it in the trailer.
There was a teasing, and it looked like even we get a little Scorpion origin story in there, so that looks kind of fun as well. And it looks like they've hired some legit actors. Yeah. And it looks really gory. It looks like the
as it's supposed to be.
The CGI looks really good. So I'm really, really stoked about it, and I'm really excited about it.
Will you be disappointed if they don't do the Mortal
Kombat? I will not, because that was for the last movie.
What if they put it in the trailer? Or I'm sorry, not in the credits. Then will you be happy? That'll be my like.
I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't need it to pay. We can
homage to the old movies.
Yeah, we can completely pretend like the other movies didn't exist, as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
In fact, that's how I live my life every day, pretending that those movies don't exist. So I'm fine with that. Yeah, if it's not there, it's not there.
Did you have a main character you played as in Mortal Kombat that is in this movie?
Scorpion was always my guy.
Scorpion was your guy? Oh my God, that's so perfect. Because guess who my guy was?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was either Sub-Zero or Raiden.
Raiden's great too. I liked
Raiden.
I liked playing as Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage was always fun.
Johnny Cage is just the go-to, which it looks like he's not in this.
Yeah, I noticed that he was out of it, and that's kind of a shame too, because he's a really fun character.
He's kind of the best character though. Like,
I mean, like as far as a character goes, yeah, absolutely, because he's got such dimensional opportunities to do things like be a douche and grow and
like the idea of a movie star being forced into this tournament sounds very great.
Right. But we don't, to be fair, we don't know that he's not going to be in it.
That's true. He could just show up and, be oh my God, I would love if just randomly it was like, and now entering Johnny Cage. Can we talk about Jax for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Because honestly, the moment that I saw him and he didn't have robot arms, I was like, oh, that's a shame. And then I saw him fight Sub-Zero and I was like, oh no. Oh no. And that's how he got the arms.
I kind of like that. That's how he got the arms.
I do too.
I just don't understand the the movies, I don't know, like obsession with Jax, like why Jax is such a main character in the Mortal Kombat movie.
I think more recently, like at least in the video game dimensions, like Jax has been beloved more and more. So I think they're probably focusing on him also because the video games are starting to focus on him more too, or at least give more Jax love.
I mean, I for me, this is how I feel. For me, it's Sub-Zero and Scorpion are the main people in the game.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
So maybe I'm wrong.
The big three for me has always been Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Raiden. Raiden because he's a god.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of where I sat too. So the introduction, I don't know why everybody loves Jax so much. I love Jax more now because of the more recent games. So I was excited to see him. Oh, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, did you see that article that came out after the trailer? And it was, I can't remember. It was like a legitimate, like it wasn't like a joke article. They actually were wondering, and they were like, I guess Chun-Li didn't get an invite?
Oh, wow. Was that a legit thing?
That was a legit thing. And their headline was like, I guess Chun-Li didn't get an invite. And then at the bottom of the article, it was like, realization that Chun-Li isn't in the Mortal Kombat universe, but maybe they'll add her in at one point. And I'm just like, oh, you messed it up. You messed it up.
That is embarrassing. Why would you even publish that?
No, I don't know. I feel like they realized their mistake as they were typing it.
I know, and then you went ahead and put it in anyway?
I know.
Oh, my God.
So, like, all these people now online are just making memes about Chun-Li suddenly showing up in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Can you imagine how bad it would go for Chun-Li, or any Street Fighter character for that matter, if they showed up?
Oh, yeah, totally. 100%.
Well,
I feel like Akuma would have a chance with everybody. Akuma would have a chance.
Oh my goodness.
Akuma's literally a demon. He would be able to fight him.
Also, all of the Street Fighter movies make the Mortal Kombat movies look like Sophie's Choice. So,
well, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, it was one of my favorite. It's a musical group that I love named Starbomb. They did a whole song about Ken from Street Fighter getting like bullied out of the Street Fighter games. And he goes to hang out with the Mortal Kombat crew, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Ken. I like wearing red and making friends." And then it's like Scorpion showing him around, and he's like ripping people's hearts out. And Ken's like, "Oh my god!" Oh man, I'm so excited for like a good video game movie because it looks like this is what we're getting.
This looks tight. I'm really excited. I'm cautiously optimistic, and it's a shame because there is some very rich characters. I think that the other failures have made people stay away from these.
Sure,
but I feel like you could turn this into a successful franchise.
No, I totally agree. Just the way that they're kind of putting absolute love into it. Yeah. I was also going to say that. The fighting alone, I mean, we talked about the gore, but the fighting also looks very in-depth and cool. Mm-hmm. And, Sub-Zero making a dagger out of Scorpion's blood and stabbing him with it in the trailer. I'm just like, this is the kind of stuff you would see from Mortal Kombat. So this is
pretty awesome.
This is so cool. I will say, I was very disappointed that they put Get Over Here in the trailer.
You didn't want him to reveal it that early?
Because that's clearly such the tagline of everything Mortal Kombat, and I almost would have rather like it be a big cheer moment in a theater. I say in a theater, it's one not going to be in a theater probably, but you know what I mean.
I think they're just letting you know that it's going to be in there.
Sure, but also like it didn't sound good to me.
It's like don't worry, it's in there.
Like don't worry. We know what we're doing. Yeah,
right.
I get that. But, all right, the next trailer that we have, I actually watched, or I told you about, and I got to see your live reaction to it while I was helping you move. It's Cruella with Emma Stone. It's a Disney live-action film that tells the origin story of Cruella de Vil. So Tank, what did you think of Cruella?
I think it looks dope. I think it's number one, a fun concept. I think this is kind of the thing where we learned from Joker, and we talked about this, you and I, that even a villain's origin story has merit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So this learning how Cruella became Cruella is, I think, an interesting story, and I think that from everything that I've seen, it looks like Emma Stone is a phenomenal Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, she looks like she's really killing it.
It looks like it's a lot of fun. It kind of looks like a heist picture, which is tight.
It looks like I from what I'm gathering just from the trailer, it looks like she's like the servant for what I'm gonna call the original Cruella de Vil, like somebody who she wants to become, kind of deal. But she's crazy, so she's going to fight for it. You know what I mean? Like kind of like what you said about Joker. It has major Joker vibes. I don't know if you've I don't know if you've ever seen or heard any of the music from Wicked, the musical.
I know.
That entire musical is the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West. Mm-hmm. And it's very good, and it makes you feel bad for this, green-faced evil witch from The Wizard of Oz, which is so odd to say, but they do an amazing job about it. I want that for Cruella. I want to actually kind of feel bad for this woman who wants to murder puppies.
I mean, I get the feeling that that's where it's headed.
And if they really embrace the whole she's a villain. Let's see how she became a villain. I'm gonna love it. The trailer already gave me all the best vibes.
Yeah, and it's and both of these movies, excitingly enough, we'll be able to watch at home.
It's true.
Although Cruella may be one of those premium access type of deals.
It might be. I went on Disney Plus today to watch WandaVision, and they were already giving me the Rayla, and the Last Dragon or something. It was for premium access on March 13th. And I'm like, I don't know if so Mulan was the last premium access. That is a recognizable, already a recognizable name. People know Mulan from the cartoon, and they'll this is the live action, sure. I don't know if Rayla's gonna get that much love because people don't recognize it.
I think they will, because
you think so?
It's a new thing.
But they didn't do that with Soul. You know what I mean? They could have done that with Soul.
I think that's because Soul was already in the can and ready to go, and it was a Christmas thing. And I think that...
Well, they made it a Christmas thing.
Well, no, but I mean, it was a Christmas thing, but it was also a good opportunity because everybody getting new devices and things like that.
That's a good point.
A good opportunity to get people to try out Disney Plus.
Sure.
So, because you're going to get this, I'm gonna try out Apple TV because I want to watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah, right.
Or Ted Sasso. Ted
Lasso. You got it right. But yeah, so like Mulan, and if they did this with Black Widow, that kind of feels right because they're so recognizable. But for Rayla, it just doesn't work for me for some reason. Because I'm thinking is I don't need to watch that then.
Is it because it's Raya, not Rayla?
Raya, sorry. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Remember when Moana was coming out and everybody kept saying Mona?
Well, I mean, that does actually kind of make sense because that's how you spell that, but...
No, it's the circle has a swirly in it. So it's Moana.
There you go. The old infamous swirly in your letters.
Swirly circle. But yeah, so I don't know. I just... I'm excited for that movie, but I don't know if I'm excited enough to spend $30 on it. You know what I mean?
I'm definitely not excited. No.
Exactly.
I'll wait.
Same thing with Mulan for you. And you loved Mulan.
I actually did really love Mulan.
If you knew how much you were going to love Mulan, would you have bought it premium access?
Not for $30. Not when you can actually buy the movie for $20.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, there's just $30 is excessive, and they should know that.
If they did $20, if they did $20, that's the price of 2 theater tickets.
It's just and it's a nice round number.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like a lot. And by the way, if I pay that, I should get to keep it as well.
Sure, but if they're trying to do the whole like it's not out yet, if it'll eventually come to the service,
sure.
I get that.
Still,
$20 to see it, and it's like prime release. Sure, they want to get a return on it.
I believe I did pay $20 to see King of Staten Island, so I would pay $20. $30 is.
Did you keep it? You didn't keep Staten
Island. No. I just rented it. Yeah.
There you go. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like 20 is a more reasonable number. You can like it's the price of 2 tickets. You can have as many people over as you want, but you have to coordinate that. So sometimes it's like, in my situation, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm spending $20 to watch a movie. You know what I mean? And I would do that. $30 is half of a video game.
$30 is too much.
$30 is way too much. And also, I will say about Black Widow, Kevin Feige has said like he's really, really holding on to that getting a theatrical release, and I think it's because he knows that it's like it's earned. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like at this point, she deserves a theatrical release, and that was going to be one of their next big films. It was going to be the start of Phase 4, even though it, is a prequel. But all I'm thinking is like, damn. I'm ready to see that movie. I don't want it on premium access. I don't want it on Disney Plus. I actually am also in the case of like, I'll wait to see it in theaters. I want to see it in theaters.
Yeah, but I don't need to see anything in theaters.
Well, yeah, I know you don't.
I'll watch everything at home.
Well, yeah, you'll watch it from your blood red coffin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Blood Red Coffin sounds like an emo band that you've never heard of.
It is my high school band. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for the trailers. Corella, overall, I think both of us are very much interested. Looks like, kind of a female Joker. Honestly, from the trailer alone, I was like, they could have called her Harley Quinn, and I would have loved
it. It seems like it does have that vibe.
It has kind of a Harley Quinn vibe. Even though it has nothing to do with Harley Quinn's origin story. I just mean, like, she's playing kind of like likable psycho very well.
Lyco.
That's the next Pixar film. Because that just sounds like a Pixar title. Tank.
It's Manic Pixie Dream Girl Psychopath. That's the new.
That's the new
ingenue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so that's gonna do it for trailers. What do you say we get into some news, Tank?
I say yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, our first story, going back to the MCU, is about what are you doing? Are you just moving a door?
I had to open the door because it's starting to get a little warm in the coffin in here.
It's about to get a little warm in the coffin. It made, it's funny. It actually made the same noise it would make in an old vampire flick where the coffin, and then you just slowly rise. You're doing it. You're rising.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you adjusting your seat.
Not just there.
So going back to the MCU, it was announced that the rights for Jessica Jones and The Punisher have now reverted back to Marvel Studios. So all I'm thinking now is like, are they going to give it the Charlie Cox, treatment? Because we know Charlie Cox has finished filming on Spider-Man 3. He has not confirmed or denied that he's Daredevil. But also, I'm like, with everything that's going on in Spider-Man 3, how is he not Daredevil?
It's gotta be.
Or at least just Matt Murdock before he becomes Daredevil. You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if they're going to give Charlie Cox that kind of treatment, we could get the same kind of treatment with Jessica Jones and the Punisher. And, John Berthal's Punisher is so perfect.
It's spot on.
So I'm like, I would love to see him involved in some MCU thing. Would you want them to go, like, so we don't know what they're doing with Charlie Cox, but let's say they're completely rebooting his Punisher, his Daredevil. Do you want to see them do that with these two characters? Like a reboot, but just has the same actors? Or recasting?
Honestly, I would hate to lose what we already have in the story department of these two, but I don't think that necessarily matters as much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
I think there is an opportunity to maybe the Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones not as important to me in the story department as Punisher, because Punisher doesn't really have any powers.
Sure.
So Jessica Jones, like, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out ways, and this is why I'm not a Hollywood movie writer. I'm racking my brain trying to figure out how you integrate these two into that MCU world. I just think that Punisher in particular, like you could work Jessica Jones in as she's doing some investigative work for one of the superheroes, on the ground level, and they find out she's got powers and things like that. So I could kind of see that, but as brutal and as R-rated as the Punisher is, I don't know how you work that into the MCU.
Well, we already know that Deadpool is his third movie is going to be R-rated, and it's going to be in the MCU, so they're not shying away from it. Maybe that's how you introduce Punisher is in Deadpool, because he would
now that would be the move.
And to have his absolute stoic seriousness about everything, and then to have wacky Deadpool next to him just having a ball, like that seems like a match made in heaven. It's essentially Cable all over again in Deadpool 2.
Right.
But that's the other thing, by the way. If Deadpool 3 is an actual continuation of the previous two, and he's in the MCU, does that mean Josh Brolin has played two MCU characters?
Possibly, yeah.
I think that's crazy to think, but also if they do pull off something like that, I think having Punisher and Deadpool together would just work very well with him being like the straight man.
It seems to make the most sense, honestly, to me. Yeah. I mean, these guys, they always have a way of making it like work when I don't think it will work,
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I would like to see Punisher at some point interact with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I think Punisher and Spider-Man have a good dynamic together. I played a lot of the Spider-Man video games, and Punisher always showed up, and it always felt right to see the Punisher in a Spider-Man game for some reason. And I think seeing those two on a big screen together is like, the prospect is super exciting.
And I would really like to see that dynamic of those two also, because, Tony Stark was a huge father figure for the type of person that Tom Holland wants to be. But I feel like that the kind of man that Punisher is, with his rigid codes and things like that, would also be an interesting dynamic to add as far as another father figure.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I think, is there any other character that we think would work very well with like Punisher, like other than like Spider-Man or a Deadpool? Like anybody in the MCU, because I'm like listing them off in my head, and I don't think any single, like maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier.
See, I was thinking that actually myself, is that because that's Bucky.
More, yeah, because of the more like serious private ops kind of thing, and like Bucky and Punisher could have some real, exactly. Bucky and Punisher could have some real, like they already have a lot in common, being like the serious roles. I don't know. I think that would be really cool.
I think it would be immensely fun to watch Ant-Man and Punisher interact.
Oh my God, yeah, because Punisher would just keep calling him names.
Right, like, hey, Tiny.
I was just gonna say, all right, Tiny. You know who is a Marvel character I'd really like to see actually introduced in the MCU? Because I don't, at this point, and maybe somebody can inform me at some point, but I don't know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like Marvel canon. I just don't know.
It is.
Is it?
I believe it is. Yeah.
If it is, then that means Ghost Rider exists in the MCU.
Yeah, that's
Ghost Rider showed up
coming through. Yeah.
I want to see Ghost Rider in the MCU, like interacting with characters we know. There's this whole like underground squad, kind of like the Avengers. I'm trying to remember their team name, but it's like the darker side of superheroes, and it's literally like
Justice League Dark, but
like Justice League Dark, but it's Marvel, and it's literally like Punisher, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange. I can't remember any others, but like those main three, like Doctor Strange led the team. And then it was like Punisher and Ghost Rider. And I'm like, oh my God, can we get that movie? Because that sounds incredible.
That'd be a fun movie. Yeah.
That would be so, so cool. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do with introducing more characters, and they've already started introducing a lot of characters recently, and I'm very, very happy about it. But we'll get to that later. I wanted to do this just because so much happened about the guy that we just know and love so much. Donald Glover has a lot going on right now. First off, something that's super exciting for you and me now, or at least you and now me, Atlanta is starting to film season 3 and 4 in March, which means we're going to be getting some new Atlanta stuff. By the way, I did not know that they greenlit a season 4, so that's just more exciting.
Well, it sucks because it's going to be so far away, and we've already been waiting for a long time.
Yeah. I've been used to like shows taking years to actually produce their following seasons. Like, did you ever watch Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch?
No.
It's a great show. It's literally like 3 episodes a season, but each episode is like a movie length long, like an hour and a half long. Because it's all solving one big mystery all in one episode. And season 2 ends with like the biggest cliffhanger, and it is literally like 5 or 6 years before we got an answer.
Oh my God.
I'm not even kidding you. So like after how hurt I was by that, I can kind of deal with like Atlanta having that long of a wait. I mean, granted, I literally just watched Atlanta, so I really don't have too much room to say. But yeah, I would like season 3 right now.
Yeah, me too.
Do you think like we were just talking about Marvel, do you think like Lakeith Stanfield will ever show up in the MCU?
I mean, at the pace that they're going,
they're going to cast everybody at some point.
Eventually, everybody. It's like Disney. Everybody's going to end up working for Disney at some point, right?
Sure.
You know, except for Gina Carano.
And,
Sorry.
I would say, are we ever going to see Donald Glover in the MCU? But we already have.
We have, man.
And, who knows? Maybe we'll get a follow-up to that at some point because he plays Uncle Aaron for Miles Morales. So
Nightcrawler.
Prowler. Just Prowler. So that'll be really excited if we actually get to see him do something like that. I would love to see him play a villain. Like,
yeah, I bet he'd be really good at it.
I bet.
There's not anything he can't do.
Nah, honestly, oh God. I saw an article the other day.
He's like if Machine Gun Kelly could do all the things that he tries to do, then he would be Donald Glover.
Like Donald Glover could actually do. I saw an article the other day, of course, because I'm still wrapped up in all the Star Wars stuff, and it was just a story about how when Donald Glover learned that they were casting a young Lando, he said it was literally like the only thing he thought about. Like, it was the only thing that he ever wanted. He was like, this is the role I have to play. Like, he came out of, because he stopped acting after season 2 of Atlanta ended for a while. Like because he was producing it, he had such a creative flow on it. He didn't want to be like just a hired actor. But when he learned about that, he literally was like, time to audition. Like gotta go back and do it. And that's that makes me so happy because he did such a wonderful job. He made Lando somehow cooler than he already was.
I gotta tell you, I would watch a Lando Calrissian origin film.
Yeah, I would too. And honestly, like, that's the thing with them doing this whole Lando TV series, because I'm like, I know they're gonna do it with Billy D. Williams, but could they please do it with Donald Glover?
They can't.
I know.
They can't.
They can't afford him. The other big news for him is that he signed a deal with Amazon to produce like 8 new projects, which is, it's great that like, Amazon believes in him so much. And I believe one of those projects he's also been put a part of is a Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot television series. Not sure how they're going to do it, but it's with Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, which it's actually really funny that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is playing Mrs. Smith because she was the robot in Solo. Like, she was L3. So I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like,
that is kind of funny.
Like they kind of had a marital thing going on already in that movie.
Yeah, there was some real undeveloped feelings between those two.
Or the how does that work? And then L3 turns and she's like, it works. But yeah, so are you excited for like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot?
I don't know. Again, what we'll talk about in just a few minutes, WandaVision has learned to kind of redefine my expectations of what's
Sure.
Like
are you saying
typically
I was gonna say, are you saying like a year ago you would have been like, absolutely not?
Right, yeah. But except for it's got Donald Glover in it. That's the only thing that would give me pause, because if Donald Glover's in it, then maybe it's like, okay, maybe there's merit to this. Like the first Mr. and Mrs. Smith was whatever. It was fine. It was cool, and especially for the time.
Sure.
And it doesn't feel like it was long enough ago to warrant a reboot. But we're not talking about a reboot. We're talking about a TV show. So maybe it'll be cool. Yeah, maybe it'll be the misadventures of a married couple of hit people.
Sure. And, I feel like a limited series of like, them both living their lives, as secret agents of two, different agencies kind of deal. And then to have the realization of each other be like episode 1's finale. And then it's like a limited series of them after each other. But then in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they team up in the movie. So I'm like, if they go through that route again, like that could be season 2. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I'm already thinking like how they could make it work. And, Amazon with like Jack Reacher and stuff, they clearly, or Jack Ryan. They clearly know how to do like, I think they know how to do like espionage kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they could make it work. And like you said, Donald Glover's in it. So it's probably going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to do this quick discussion real quick about like video game movies, because, we have the video game podcast and I could have brought this up on there. But since we got the Mortal Kombat trailer, I wanted to talk about it here on the lines of like, we've gotten Sonic the Hedgehog, which did you ever end up seeing that?
Never actually watched it. No.
Okay. So I will tell you, like, after I finished watching it, I was like, it's a kid's movie, but it's fun, whatever. I saw it again, and I thought relatively the same thing. And just like with age, I look back on it and all I think is fun, like the fondness that I have of it. Like, so overall, I enjoyed and loved the film. Like, I thought it was really good. It was a great video game movie, great way to introduce like a character like Sonic. And now I am legitimately excited for Sonic 2. Which they're going to introduce Tails into it and stuff. So I'm like, that's going to be fun.
That is fun. I mean, yeah.
Mortal Kombat releases their trailer, and, a trailer can be deceiving, but it looks like they're taking a lot of, like, love and heart with the source material that even if the movie's bad, I'm probably going to love it. I'm probably going to love it. You know what I mean? So all I'm thinking is, like, are we starting to get into an era of like good video game movies? You kind of already touched base on it a little bit where you mentioned how like comic book movies had like this odd start to it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cheese. There was a lot of, not following the source material. And video game movies definitely fell into the same category. And you kind of pointed out, like, I think we're starting to get on that upswing that comic book movies had, where they're...
You know what it is? It's honestly like a timing situation. So you take stuff like the original Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. They bought the source material, they read it, they perused it, and they built a movie around it. They didn't... Right. It wasn't people who lived with it growing up and loved it and obsessed about it. And, that's what you got later with these movies. And that's a time thing. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing, I think, with the comic books. Or I'm sorry, with the video games. The people who wrote the original Mortal Kombat movie probably didn't spend a lot of time playing Mortal Kombat. Probably didn't, love the characters and the lore and stuff like that. Right. Same thing with Street Fighter. Those movies were terrible. They said, we have a guy to play the star. We have one of the hottest box office stars in the world right now. And let's slap something together. There was a Chun-Li movie, the standalone Chun-Li movie. That was absolutely garbage. It was garbage. There was even a Tekken movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these movies have existed, but again, nobody was in love with the source material.
And you've so far only listed like fighting games. There's still like Doom, Super Mario, like, oh my God, so many.
But look at The Witcher. You know what I mean? The Witcher is a good example of something that's turned out to be really great.
I will say they did base it more heavily on the books, but it's popular because of the video games. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I for one, I can't speak for anybody else. I thought the World of Warcraft movie was really good.
I actually I have a T-shirt from that movie, and I still haven't watched it.
Really? I thought it was really good, even though I have never played the game.
Sure.
I have no connection with the lore, so I don't know anything about it. But again, I think it's all about you could tell when somebody's just trying to write something to cash something in.
Sure.
The Mario Brothers movie, that was so terrible.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it could have been great because you had John Leguizamo, you had Bob Hoskins, two tremendous actors. You had Dennis Hopper as the main bad guy.
Right.
Could have been amazing, but again, you got to be faithful to the material, I think, and I think that comes through. So if you try to like adapt it to the more real world stuff, I think you lose. But I think that this new crop of things that are coming out, that's comic book movies, that's anything that people have been living with and fandoming for years.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're going to find that that's going to be an improvement.
And going back to Super Mario, Illumination, the people who did like Minions and Despicable Me and those type of animated films, they're working on a Super Mario movie. And I have 100% faith in them because it's going to look and sound like Super Mario. It's not going to
be CGI?
Yeah. It's going
to be fun.
It's going to be, like it's probably going to look like a video game kind of animation, but a whole movie of it. And that's
fun.
Kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I was also going to go back to Warcraft real quick. I will tell you, just as somebody who knows enough about World of Warcraft, who also knows what they were doing with the movie, they spent a lot of time and effort trying to understand and appreciate the lore of the game. Problem is, World of Warcraft's lore is big. Like to the case where I'll say 90% of the players who play World of Warcraft probably don't know everything about it. Like, don't know the lore behind everything. Right. And from what I gathered, and I could be wrong about this, but from what I gathered when I was looking into the film, Warcraft the movie is literally like 1/15 of the first book of lore of all of World of Warcraft. Like,
and I think that's probably one of the reasons it worked is because it didn't try to do too much.
It didn't try to tell
a whole one story.
Sure.
Yeah, it told one story, and I thought it worked well. I thought the CGI was fantastic.
I thought the orcs looked great in the trailer.
That's not even my type of movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even really into that. And I watched it and I was like, hey, this is a good movie. I mean, like the themes and the lessons and everything were good. And I would recommend that to somebody to watch.
It's actually funny because the director of that film is the same director of the movie that I'm recommending today.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What a coincidence.
Yeah, so that's exciting. And actually, you know what? That's a pretty good segue. Overall, I think video game movies are on the rise, and I'm excited to see what they're doing next. But why don't we get into recommendations before we do WandaVision? And like you said, for Warcraft, I'll go first this time just so I can kind of connect the two. The director of Warcraft also did one of my favorite sci-fi movies. And I think we've had to have talked about it before on the podcast. You've probably seen it. It's so good. Moon. Do you know Moon?
That's Ryan Gosling?
No. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell. Oh, Sam Rockwell's the greatest.
He's so great. And Moon is that story. I'm not going to spoil it because there's there's some twists and turns that happen in the film. but essentially it is a man who lives on the moon and who's a part of like this mining thing that he's been working for years. And it's him trying to, or it's his like shift, essentially, his like 11 something year long shift that he had on this space station ending. And it's just Sam Rockwell by himself with a robot voiced by now canceled Kevin Spacey. But
oh no,
you don't need to remember that. The robot's not involved all that much. Well, he is, but you know, it's mostly just Sam Rockwell. And he does a fantastic job. I'll say this movie is actually what made me really appreciate and love Sam Rockwell's acting ability, because he's.
I thought you were gonna say space travel.
What? His space travel?
I thought you appreciated space travel more because of this movie. Space
travel more because of this movie?
Yeah.
Well, no, it's Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell's acting ability, honestly, just he kills it in this film for a lot of different reasons. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, go watch the movie. It is one of my absolute favorite character pieces. Probably my favorite performance by Sam Rockwell, and one of my favorite sci-fi movies. I cannot recommend Moon enough. It's so good. But that's mine.
Interesting. That's a good one today. I was kind of like wondering like what I should do, because there's a lot of different, like right now, you know, 2021 is not turning out to be any better than 2020.
Not so far, no.
So I think what the world needs is a little bit more pep, a little bit more
hope. Sorry.
And I just recently started watching a show that I think is it really hits the notes for me. It's the show New Girl.
Oh, really? You started watching New Girl?
I did. I never watched it before. And Zoe Deschanel and the supporting cast, all fantastic, fun characters. It's a lighthearted show. Zoe Deschanel is so cute and so positive that you can't help but like smile. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's kind of what we need right now. So
I feel like the show's been on this big like popularity increase. I think since the pandemic started, I think more and more people started watching it. Because I've heard nothing but good things about it more recently than I have the entire span of that show being out. And I think when I learned that the voice of Peter Parker in Into the Spider-Verse was one of the main characters on that show, I was like, Jake Johnson, that's right. And I was just like, I should watch that show, because I haven't watched it yet. And I also love Zoe Deschanel.
And one of the other characters, Winston, is the main character of another show I've recommended called Woke.
Is that oh yeah, that's right. You did recommend that, and I saw it on IMDb.
And so the whole cast is, I mean, it's really good, and the guest cast are Justin Long and
Justin Long.
Not Carrie Fisher. I love Justin Long, by the way. I feel like he's...
No, I love Justin Long, too. And that's why I was like, Justin Long, where has he been?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Like, somebody that good, where has he been?
Do you know do you know what my favorite Justin Long movie is?
Waiting?
Nope.
What is it?
Accepted.
Accepted is a great movie.
Ask me about my winner. I love that movie so much.
What was the movie that he did with Drew Barrymore? He did a movie with Drew Barrymore that was really good.
I believe that's Live Free and Die Hard. Oh, I thought you said Bruce Willis.
No.
No, I don't remember what movie he did with Drew Barrymore.
Nobody does, because nobody saw it.
Also, nobody talks about Justin Long anymore.
Exactly.
So sad.
It's called Going the Distance.
Going the Distance.
Going the Distance. It's one of these. Oh, all right. Well, so we'll throw Going the Distance in there as a secondary recommendation.
Also accepted.
Also accepted.
Everybody should watch Accepted.
Just laugh. You know what I mean? Like, just have a night full of laughs.
And
enjoy yourself. Because Justin Long is like really one of these funny. He's got like kind of a Ryan Reynolds type of a humor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like real dry and stuff like that. So I mean, just enjoy it. And I gotta tell you, like, I'm just there's 7 seasons of New Girl, so I honestly, I'm not speaking from a place of complete knowledge because I just finished the first season.
Sure.
But it's a very upbeat show, and it makes you feel good.
As far as I've heard, everybody loves every little bit of it, so you're gonna have a
and
good
with and with them kicking The Office and Parks and Rec and all those off of Netflix, then
might as well watch New Girl.
Might as well watch New Girl.
Can I also just quickly say one of my favorite moments in Accepted is Justin Long, like, in his clumsiness, and there is a part that I don't think anybody talks about from that movie. Well, nobody talks about that movie, but anybody talks about that movie where he's opening like the van like back door and like to grab his parents' stuff as they're coming to visit the college, and the van door swings up and just flips him upside down essentially, and then the camera immediately cuts from it, and I'm like, that was one of the funniest like physical comedy things I've ever seen, and it's on replay in my head. It was so funny to me, and nobody talks about it.
It's a video that lives in your head rent free.
Yeah, it's a video that. What video lives in your head rent free? Yeah, that clip of Accepted is just him getting like flipped over by the car door. It's so good. But yeah, so those are some great recommendations. What do you say we start talking about WandaVision episode 7? Because my God, there's so much to talk about.
There's a lot to get to. It was a bit longer episode, not super long.
Not long longer, enough.
Right? Definitely not long enough.
It was 38 minutes, and 8 of those minutes were credits. And a mid-credits scene. Are you changing your light for WandaVision?
Yeah.
WandaVision.
I should have started as something else and then.
Yeah, you changed it from red to like an orange.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's Vision and Wanda like colors together.
Yeah.
Like a yellow and a. There we go. That works. So yeah, we're gonna start talking about WandaVision. Tank, give very brief like, what'd you think of the episode? Was it good?
I loved it.
I loved it.
I was disappointed in one particular area.
But, oh yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Outside of that, but it didn't negatively affect the episode.
No.
Negatively affected my expectation of what was coming.
Sure, because everybody has been hyping it up, this expectation, and I think everybody was let down. But anyways, the episode overall is good. We're gonna start getting into spoilers, so please go watch WandaVision if you haven't already. Because really, why haven't you? Anyways, so talking about spoilers in 3, 2, 1. The aerospace engineer was the biggest letdown ever because I know you said it last time I saw you. You're like, it's not Reed Richards, and I'm like, dude, I really want it to be. I really want it to be Reed Richards.
Well, there was the rumor that it was going to be Blue Marvel.
Oh.
So it didn't even turn out to be that. Here's the thing, though. Okay. So here's
the
a couple of things.
Here's the thing.
When they first pulled up and she said, "There they are," I said, "Oh shit, that's the entire Fantastic Four." I thought that's what that was going to be.
Man, you got yourself way more excited.
I did.
So
and
sorry.
Then here's the thing. We don't know 100% that the major that she was talking to is the person who designed the vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, the person who designed the vehicle could still be
Reed Richards,
somebody of significance.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for, because I think I saw somebody who I've been following who's just been hyping up that it's going to be Reed Richards, and he said, like, biggest letdown of the century, and he said, but Reed Richards still built it. And I was just
right.
like,
I mean, like,
totally could.
You could still get that vibe, and so you're also, I think we're setting up for a Civil War type of situation where it's going to be some members of SWORD against other members of SWORD, and Agatha. By the way, good call by you.
Honestly, they shoved it down our throat too much that, if you watched any theory videos or if you knew a little bit about Scarlet Witch's backstory in the comics, I think anybody could have seen it from a mile away. However, I think the reveal that they did was so perfect for anybody who went in blind, because the reveal that, yes, the kooky neighbor who's been kind of acting weird, and I think that's also why people in the last episode were like, see, this proves it. This proves that she's, not a part of it. I think those are the people who also just got this big, like, oh my God, like happy, like, I can't believe she's a villain moment. And I'm so happy about it. Oh my God. Finally, the reveal that she's Agatha Harkness is just,
And I love that they turned that into another show. How
the like theme song.
That?
Yeah. Yes. Her little like gloating theme. And that's totally what it was too. It's not even like Wanda messing with the show. At that point, it's literally her being like, I'm gloating because I was the villain the whole time. That's 100% what it was. And
we started to see some of Monica's powers emerge.
I'm going to tell you, that was probably like my happiest moment in the episode, was her going, like forcing herself through, and you're hearing all the voices of like her mother. You hear Captain Marvel at one point. Oh my God, you hear a younger her doing the whole like, can I go with you? And it's Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury at some point saying something like, only if you had glowy powers like Carol here, or something like that. And all I'm thinking is like, oh my God, she's getting powers through sheer force of will.
Yeah.
I love her.
When she did the superhero landing.
Yes. And you just feel the like energy around her.
It was kind of this moment, and it was really subtly played by her, but also it was like, oh, and like her look on her face was the same. Like, and I thought that was brilliantly played, because it was like she just realized that she's like, something's going on here.
By the way, she clearly, and this is what, okay, so she might become, she's on this steep, like, just shooting off as becoming like one of my favorite characters so far in the MCU, because honestly, her compassion and like real hope and love trying to help Wanda, she doesn't even care that she has powers. She's noticed like things are being weird, but in the end, she's still like, Wanda, let me help you. And I'm like, this girl is a damn hero.
Right.
She really is.
Isn't that what a real hero is? Yeah. And I think we're seeing that in her, and she's picking up on what's going on, and like I think that there's going to be a really bizarre battle. I think that's going to take place between the Sword Agents outside of the Hex, the people inside of the Hex, and then there's going to be a witch off in the middle. And I honestly think that there's still something else going on. I still think that there's a subtext, a subplot.
We still don't know who Ralph is.
Yet.
We still don't know who
Ralph is. Right.
Also, kind of going back to her coming through the Hex and giving herself powers. Can I just say, her taking off the like spacesuit-esque thing that she's wearing, her undershirt that she's wearing under that is like inspired by her comic book outfit.
Really?
It's the black and white. She has like kind of like a diamond that goes across her chest like that, a black diamond, and then the rest is white under it. And that's what her shirt looked like. And I'm just like, oh, this is the best way to introduce the character. Oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. And I am so excited to see what she can do. We finally got to see what happened to Darcy, which was so cute. She's the escape artist
She is.
Nope. Don't do it.
Hot.
No. No. No.
Is it weird that
spray bottle
her being tied up?
Stop! All right. So she was an escape artist at the carnival. But
how funny was the interaction with her and Vision before he set her mind free? It was a very funny interaction.
Can I just okay? So kind of going off of what you just said, the Modern Family esque-ness of the show, of the episode, was really funny.
It really was. Like, and the intro was The Office, which I thought was
the weird. Intro was The Office.
I thought it was kind of a weird. I was like, that's a strange turn, but I liked it a lot. And my favorite part was Vision's like realized it's like why am I talking?
And he's like taking off the mic off of his superhero outfit.
I'm in the middle of something here. Why have I stopped to doing what I'm doing to talk to this?
Yeah.
So and then of course during so here's my thing. Do we get the impression that maybe Agatha is setting everything up because of in some scenes she's the director? You know what I mean? Like
maybe.
Like she's sitting in the director's chair in that one scene. Is that a nod to the fact that she's directing the whole show?
She could be the one who's actually controlling like the eras and like that it's very TV show-esque. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I think it's still Wanda who's like really controlling everything. But I think Agatha was helping her. And now because Wanda's so emotionally imbalanced, like Agatha is making this her moment to strike. Like, oh, Wanda doesn't have vision and she's like in this depression spiral in this episode. Now's the time for me to get her. You know what I thought? You know what I mean? Like, gets the kids. Vision's gone, so he can't help. Like, because honestly, I bet Agatha knows if it was a one-on-one against Wanda, she has a chance. If it's a one-on-two against Wanda and Vision, there's no way she's winning.
But does Vision have his powers without the stone?
They've shown that he still has his powers in the Hex. Nexus was the antidepressant commercial, which we need to talk about.
Nexus that's got to be whatever breaks the spell, right?
Well, okay, so somebody who I follow looked up defined what a nexus is, and it's something that is connected to all these different pieces. So his theory is Wanda is literally a nexus to other realities because she has reality warping abilities in the comics, and clearly we're kind of seeing that here. Her losing control in this episode and, chairs becoming chairs from the 1940s and walls disappearing and reappearing. That is her reality warping abilities like faltering. That is the nexus breaking. And we know the show will eventually lead into like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man 3, where we already know all this crazy multiverse stuff is going on. So I think that it's just confirming that Wanda's on the breaking point to actually breaking reality. And I am here for it. Like, this is super exciting. And
it really is. Yeah.
Looking at interviews and stuff, Paul Bettany has said the big cameo was not Pietro, and he said it's an actor that he's been wanting to work with for a very long time. And people also pointed out that he's worked with Benedict Cumberbatch before, so it's not Doctor Strange, even though Doctor Strange is probably going to show up at the end of the show. That's everybody's prediction, at least, that he's going to show up at the end. So if Doctor Strange is not the cameo and Pietro's not the cameo, and it's an actor that he's never worked with before, meaning it's probably some brand new character or somebody who hasn't been in the MCU movies, like Hugh Jackman Wolverine? Like, I don't know. It's it could be anybody. But it's very exciting to see who it could possibly be, this big cameo that they're
so annoying that I have to wait 2 weeks to know everything.
I'm telling you, when the episode ended, I just about cried. I was like, no, come on. Honestly, I can't stand the wait anymore. But you know what? We got 2 episodes left. I think each of the final episodes is going to be about an hour long, which is good because that's what we need.
At least.
Because my God, we need some more time because I want to get tired with the episode before it ends, but I'm always way more invested when it's ending. What was I going to say? You lost my train of thought.
I lost it.
Yeah, you lost it. It's all your fault. Yeah, I'm so excited. This show has been everything I've wanted it to be and more. Did you see the after credits scene?
I did, and
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Let's hope that is the only one that there's ever been, because I don't think I've ever seen one before.
No, there's not. There hasn't been. I've always stayed after the credits as a safety net, just in case. And it's funny too, because I really thought Twitter was going to be like just filled with spoilers or something. I went on Twitter right after I finished the episode, and it's just people like filling it with there's an after credit scene, stay for the credits, which makes me happy. It's just people like trying to. Like, that was the first thing I texted you this morning in case you hadn't seen the episode. It was literally me saying, like, hey, are we still good at 1 p.m. to record? Also, there's an after credit scene.
You know what's weird, too, is because I had already watched the episode when you texted me, but
you never stayed?
I never stayed, but this time I just happened to.
That's so perfect. That's so perfect.
It really worked out. Dude, I'm so blown away how good this show is, and what a great job they've done with everything, and how it keeps me like really looking forward to the next episode, and how crazy it drives me that I have to wait until the next episode.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in such a modern world of, give me what I want now.
Totally. So let me ask you, what do you think about Pietro?
What do you think of what?
What do you think about Pietro, Quicksilver? Because that was the after credit scene.
So, okay, somebody said, so Monica and her, when they were fighting, she said, you brought in Pietro, and she goes, Pietro wasn't us. Yeah. Which to me says that Agatha and her partner, whoever that is, brought him in. Well, and he's working for them.
Well, in that little like montage of Agatha messing everything up, Pietro, like, his back to the camera, like when he first arrives at the doorframe, his back is just covered in that like black magic stuff that she's controlling, and it's her on the lawn like looking all full of herself because she's controlling it. So does that? I hope that doesn't, just because I'm just hoping for Quicksilver to show back up in the MCU overall. Even if it's with Evan Peters. So all I'm saying is, like, I hope she's mind controlling real Pietro, but she didn't create Pietro. You know what I mean?
No, I think we'll find that Pietro's from a different universe.
That's what I want. Because why else would it be Evan Peters? Yeah, because they could have just gotten Taylor Johnson, the original Quicksilver in the MCU, to come in and just do it, probably. So why would it be Evan Peters? They clearly made it Evan Peters from the Fox universe for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I think the idea that, she influenced Wanda in a way to force her to bring Pietro from a different universe in, and then mind controlled him to make everything even worse for her, like, that totally makes sense to me. And I really hope that's the case. That whole Snooper's gonna snoop at the end there, I don't think that's like that's totally a him catching her in the act, because he's also still protecting his current, master, Agatha.
Right.
So I think we're literally going to get like a superpower fight between Agatha and Wanda, and Monica and Pietro, Quicksilver and Photon.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get to find out like what she can do.
Yeah, totally. Because it seems like she has very I am just so excited to see exactly like, so she's a witch, but we know Wanda got her powers from the Infinity Stone. So how did Agatha get her powers in the MCU? Because in the comics, she's straight up just a witch. Like, she can use witchcraft. So I'm like, God, how are they gonna explain this? Because she already had the mutant abilities in the comics. Scarlet Witch did, and then she was trained also to use witchcraft, which I think is also the powers that she has now with the hex and everything. And Yo Magic, the commercial is now. I'm confirming it more that the little kid dying on the island is Wanda, and Yo Magic being introduced to the kid. The shark is Agatha saying, hey, here's witchcraft that you can use to make your reality better, to survive your grief. You know what I mean?
But you're still dying.
But you're still dying because that's the plan overall is to get her in a depressive state that she can defeat her, which is what we have in the next episode. I am so excited. I can't wait any longer, man.
Yeah, I know it sucks.
But
Tom Petty said it best. The waiting is the hardest part.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. God, I'm so excited for next week. Fridays are becoming my favorite days just because I get WandaVision.
Yeah.
And I get to talk with my good friend Tank.
You talk to me every day.
Well, yeah, good point. But all right, thank you all so much for watching on YouTube at No Talking During the Movies and checking out our Instagram where we're also listed at No Talking During the Movies on there. But I think that's going to do it today. How are you feeling, Tank?
Feeling great, man. Feeling really excited about the upcoming weeks of the show.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost to the end, and I'm so ready for it. But all right, well, once again, I am your host, Stephen Austin.
I'm your co-host, Tank.
And we will see you guys next week for more WandaVision. WandaVision.